Okay, hello guys, so welcome back to my video, and today I'm going to show you around my PC, which is right here at my back. I'm gonna talk about like my most used apps, how I decorate and organize it. So Lenovo actually sent me this PC last year, but disclaimer, this video isn't sponsored. I really just like making videos like these. Also, this video is gonna be in 3 parts. I'll just put the timestamps here below if ever you guys want to skip. I've been a Windows user all my life, like way before I got a MacBook in college. So I'm pretty familiar with how to use Windows, but if you switched from Apple to Windows, I hope that I could teach you a thing or two. If you're already a Windows user, hopefully that you guys can get tips from how to decorate your Windows PC. So first things first, I have the Lenovo Idea Center AIO 3. It's not a built PC, like I didn't build this, it came to me like that. So it basically just has a monitor, and that's why I love how it's so portable because it doesn't have that gigantic CPU. Everything's there already in that little monitor, and all I need to do is plug it in and click the power button and it starts right up. So it has a camera, it has lots of ports, and I like that I can adjust the angle of the PC, so it really helps my neck and eye strain. Alongside it, I use this milk tea colored mechanical keyboard from Lowfree. Next to it, I have my Logitech mouse, which I placed stickers all over it to make it cuter and personalized. Here's a type test to show you guys how it sounds like, and I don't know why, but the sounds of mechanical keyboards really help motivate me finish my requirements. I also use this wooden stand for my desk to organize my stuff, and also it acts as a desktop riser, so my PC is my eye level. Then on top of my PC, I have a light screen bar. I use it in 2 ways. First, as a direct light source for my desk area since I don't really have a lamp. And second, to relieve my eye strain since it does hurt when I'm staring at my PC for a long period of time. Now for the next part of the video, let's get into what's really inside my PC, aka my most used applications. First, I have this zip extractor. I like it better than the default one because it gives me more options on how I want the files to be extracted. It lets me extract multiple zip files all at once or just one, and it lets me choose where I want it to be placed, like on the same folder or a separate one, because the default one places each of the files in a folder that's also within a folder, so it's really hard to get all the files, especially if you're extracting a lot. And of course, as a graphic designer, I use a lot of Adobe applications. I'll just link down below how I got them because I don't want to get sued. Next is Air Server, which is a really cool app that lets you use your Windows PC or laptop as a monitor for your Mac. HDMI doesn't really work unless it's a monitor. Mine's not a monitor, so that's why. Unfortunately, it's paid, so right now my trial has expired, but here's a photo of me using it before. Then I also have Canva. I downloaded the app for convenience since I use it a lot for my journal and vlog stuff, as well as school presentations and requirements. Next, I have a few DIY apps. I did this for Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, Google Calendar since I use this a lot for school, and by DIY, I mean because it's not really an app, because when you click it, it opens up Google Chrome since it's a website, but it has its own window, so it's like an app. And I did this by just going to that site, then click the upper right button and look for more tools, then create shortcut and click open as window. Then it saves on your laptop, and you can do this for almost any website. Next, I have Flux, which is something like night shift mode, and I use this to prevent eye strain since I stare into my gadgets all day long. I know Windows has a default one, but I like this more because it really adjusts the color and brightness of the screen according to the sunset and time of day. So as the day passes, the screen becomes more tinted to adjust to your eyes. Plus, it has a lot of more options to choose from. Then Focus To Do is just a Pomodoro app. There aren't a lot of aesthetic ones in the App Store for Windows, but this was the prettiest and clean looking one. I use it while I'm trying to focus for school and doing my homework. Meanwhile, I have FontBase, which is my new font management app. I'm able to sync fonts across devices and arrange fonts into folders I like. I'll talk more about this in the later part of the video. I'm also an avid user of iCloud since I'm still mainly an Apple user, and like I said, I'll also talk more about this later on in the 3rd part of the video. Next is Notion, which is one of my most used apps ever. I love it. If you didn't know, I've posted like 3 Notion tours and tips, so check those out. But I use this to track almost everything in my life, my college modules, extracurriculars, YouTube, personal stuff like movies and books. And And next we have PDFelement, who is the sponsor of today's video. So, as the name says, PDFelement is a PDF editing tool that provides the easiest way to create, edit, convert, and sign PDF documents and forms across all your devices, whether it be desktop, mobile, and even web. If you're a student like me, especially someone in online school, having an app that lets you easily view and edit PDFs is so essential, because professors love to send PDFs and we need all the help we can get to digest and handle all of these information. It does what a basic editor does, like letting you annotate, whether it be by adding highlights, shapes, images, or text. But one thing I really love and find useful is its OCR feature. It's so irritating whenever I receive a PDF and I can't even select the text or highlight it because it's a photo. This feature converts that photo/PDF into an editable form like a Word document. And now you can add images, annotate, and even edit the text itself and many more. You can do this on both Apple and Windows. Then another cool feature they have is their scan function, which is available for iOS. If you don't really want to directly edit a photo, your textbook, your paper, or if you need to sign something, just open their app to scan that paper and turn it into a PDF form. Plus, their scanner makes the result look so clean. Afterwards, you can use the OCR feature, edit the PDF, annotate, highlight, and even add your signature to it. They have a lot more features that make your life easier and faster in this online setup. It's the best alternative to Adobe Acrobat and a simple editor to maximize your productivity. If you're interested, you can check them out through the link I placed in the description below. Now let's get back to the video. Okay, now back to the video. Next, I have Screen Recorder Pro. It's free and I mainly use this for my YouTube videos, and actually I'm using it for this video right now. It's free and great for recording your whole screen or a selected part of your screen with or without video, and it has many more options. Then next are a few basic apps like sticky notes, which I use for brain thumping tasks or reminders for the day, and Spotify, which I use 24/7, so I'm just gonna self-plug myself over here. As you can see, I also organized my playlists, and to create folders, just right click on a playlist, and then from then on, just drag the playlists you want grouped together. And Steam, which surprisingly I also have. Occasionally I play games with my friends. I have Overcooked, Stardew Valley, and The Sims 4. And lastly are just a few messaging apps, but I use Viber, Slack, and Telegram for work and internship, but I also like to send myself photos on Telegram as the easiest way to transfer photos, aka my thumbnails. So the next part of the video will be about how I personalized and decorated my PC. So for my screensaver, I have this analog-like clock. I use the app Fleeklo. It acts as a good clock whenever my PC goes to sleep or idle after 5 minutes. The trick is to not delete the installer after you make it your screensaver, because from my experience, if you do, the screensaver also stops working. So I just kept the installer here in my documents folder. Then here's my lock screen wallpaper. It's from the movie Spirited Away, so maybe this can remind me to also eat because I always forget. And at the bottom left corner, you can see I have this cool calendar notification. It shows one event in my calendar that's going to happen today, and I did that by logging in using my Gmail on the calendar app of Microsoft, since I mainly use Google Calendar. So it just syncs, and then afterwards go to the personalization settings, lock screen, then scroll down. You can choose one app to show a detailed status on your lock screen. And yeah, let's just put my password, and now we're on the main area, and as you've gathered, I made my setup have a Studio Ghibli vibe. Now for the folder icons, there are 3 ways you can change it. First, the most obvious one, just make a new folder, then right click to go to its properties, then click customize. There it says change icon. But the file you have needs to be an icon file or a .ico, or else when you customize it, it won't detect the photo. Next, if it's a system folder like documents here or like downloads and that stuff, which you can't really change the icon, first you go to its original file location and then right click to create a shortcut, or just drag it here on your desktop. And from then on, you guys can just follow the same steps I said earlier. Lastly, if it's a system folder and you can't really create a shortcut of it, like the the PC folder and the recycle bin. I'll just demonstrate here on the screen because it's kind of a lengthy process. And as you guys see, I kind of have this blue theme going on. It used to be purple like here on the screen, so I like to change it up a bit from time to time as well. You guys can go to settings, then personalization. We're done with the wallpaper, so let's go pick an accent color. You guys can customize it or let Windows choose for you based on your wallpaper. Lastly, one of my favorite parts, I also tweak my taskbar a bit here so it's more functional but still organized. I wanted it to be locked and stay on top, mainly for convenience, because that way I can easily switch between my browser tabs and applications and windows. It's all open up there, so I don't need to go up and down. So it's most convenient, especially when I'm working on a design and I constantly need to change apps, but I still value functionality. So I changed the settings to let me see the app label, aka what the opened application is about. It's convenient when I'm in a hurry. Instead of hovering over it to see all the windows and see what's open, I can just see at a glance which folder leads me to which folder. The same goes for my other applications with multiple windows open. And I also decluttered my taskbar and removing the search bar, the task view, and the Windows Cortana buttons. Because the buttons are so distracting, I don't ever use them anyways. Plus, I can just press the start or Windows button here to search, so I don't really need the search bar. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I just want to share it if ever you're new to Windows or don't really know it. You can further customize your taskbar by adding your most used folder here at the right side. If ever there's a folder you need quick access to ASAP, which is a click of a button, you can see the files inside it and open it. But I don't really use it because it's kind of distracting and it takes up space. And one last thing about the taskbar, when you guys click the date over here, tada, it shows you a quick glance all the things you need to do for the day. You guys can check your agenda for the day or the next few days. And yeah, it's a great alternative since Google Calendar doesn't really have an official app for desktops or laptops. Okay, so the last thing about decorating are widgets. Honestly, I rarely look or use them nowadays. I have two. The first is Widget Launcher, which I use for the mini calendar overview. Then the other app is Desktop Gadgets, which I use for the weather widget, the most useful ones for me, but there's a lot of other options here on the app. So now moving on to the last part of the video, aka is how I organize my PC to fit what I do. First, we have the start menu, which as I previously said is the main reason why I stayed in Windows 10. I like that it allows me to easily see my most used apps better and in a cuter and organized way because it takes up the whole screen. So the first thing you'd want to do is go to your apps menu and see which apps you want to pin to the start, and you can do that by right-clicking on them. And from then on, you guys can easily drag and group them into however you like. Personally, I have 4 main categories: social media, favorite apps, important folders, and most used settings or widget. You guys can even rename and add an emoji over here so it's cuter. If you guys want to reduce the amount of apps seen but you still want to keep it over here, you can further drag the apps together and it creates its own subfolder group. And as you can see, I also customized the sizes of the app tiles by right-clicking, and playing around with the sizes becomes so fun because it's almost like Tetris, because you're figuring out a way how to fit it all in one row. And you guys can basically pin almost anything. Need to be an app, you guys can pin settings, a folder you often use. It's really just fun to seeing how you guys can customize the start menu. And over here at the right, you guys can see I pinned to start the Photos app, and I actually customize what it shows, and you can do that just by opening up the photo you want, then just right click it to set as app tile. And it doesn't even have to be one photo. You guys can go to the settings of the Photos folder. From there, you can either set it as favorites photo or just one photo. And just one quick tip, if you guys ever want to change the folder icon, just right click again to open the original file location, and in this folder you guys can see what's on your start menu. Next, I have winquicklook. What it does is when you press the spacebar on a file or image, it will show you a preview of it in this separate window. Even if you move it to the next file, it will still show you a preview, which is so convenient, so much better than the preview panel on the right. And another way to just organize my stuff, I like to make use of quick access and pin my most used folders. I also tweaked it a bit so it continues to show my recently used folders and files. It becomes in handy. So I always have to go back and forth between the same exact folders, but I don't want it pinned on my quick access, so it's really just convenient here. And next, I have Sharpkeys. keys. As you guys know, I came from using a MacBook and I'm so used to the controls there. So I just used this app to remap or rearrange the function of the keys on my keyboard. For example, I switched the Windows button and the left control button. Keyboard didn't have a print screen button that I needed to screenshot on the PC. So I just replaced the right control button with a print screen option since I don't use it anyways. Next, I'll show you guys how I organize my fonts using FontBase, which I paid using my own money because it's really worth it for me as a designer. I sync all of my fonts across both my Mac and PC since I do switch between them all the time. But before I did that, I needed to just gather all of my fonts first all in one place. And then on these two folders, you guys can find all the fonts you have on your Mac and PC even if you deleted the original copy. And this is when my iCloud drive comes in handy because I moved my font collection folder to my iCloud drive and used it as a root folder. That way all of my fonts are synced, and if in the future I download new fonts, I can just place them here in this folder and it will automatically be available on both devices for me to activate. Plus, I like that FontBase automatically has a collection of over 3,000 fonts from Google which are free, so you don't have to download them one by one. You can just easily activate them with a click of a button. Aside from these, I'm also able to categorize my fonts based on however I like. Personally, I like to arrange my fonts based on how I see or use them, so I can easily find what exactly are the types of fonts I'm looking for. For example, I have chunky, aka thick, fun looking fonts, then clean looking fonts that are either thick or thin, then some cute childish fonts, fancy fonts, aka those that look like serif but are extra pretty, then some fun looking ones, those with handwriting texture, hollowed fonts, and then those monospaced fonts. And I have a lot more. I have like parody, aka fonts that look like holidays or inspired from pop culture shows, retro, aka oldies fonts, script fonts, and lastly the normal typical serif fonts. But the app also has its own advanced search, so if you're too lazy to arrange all of your fonts one by one, you can customize its category, weight, thickness, etc. Okay, so for the last two apps for this video, I'll get into how exactly I manage my files between all my gadgets and emails and etc. Cloud storages I like are Google Drive and iCloud. I have them both downloaded and pinned here to my quick access because they have all the essential files I have. And having the apps also makes everything so easy since if I want to upload stuff, I don't really need to wait long and I can just drag the file I want to upload. And if I need anything, I can access everything, even Adobe files, without needing to download them on Google Drive. And just in case I lose Wi-Fi, I also set it to be an offline access. And basically, I use Google Drive and iCloud for different reasons. Basically, I use Google Drive for bigger and more official documents or files, so I store all of my past artworks and also my school files, both high school and college, then my work files, aka commissions, org work, and internships, and other important documents. Google Drive is basically like an archive. If ever I want to upload stuff here, it means that I don't really need to use it. Meanwhile, iCloud, I use it for the stuff I use on a daily basis or the ones that have been recently used and uploaded. For my iCloud, I'm on the 50GB monthly storage plan, and I personally think it's worth it because I use it to sync and easily transfer big chunks of files or photos I need ASAP across all of my different devices. So one example is when I download something like an ebook from my PC or iPad, I just save it here so I can access it on both either my iPad or iPhone to open it up on my ebook app. And yeah, the same goes when I download something on my other Apple devices. It just goes automatically here so I can access it anywhere. So essentially, I mainly have on here like screenshots I've accumulated during the online setup. I really like just collect them and look back in a few years time, and stickers for my journal, some collections like ebooks and art resources, and some useful files I need all the time with me like a photocopy of my ID, passport, and all that stuff. So yeah, honestly, I'm more of paying for the convenience than the storage, but I really do use this a lot. And like Google Drive, I check it's always on this PC so that it's always downloaded and I can open it anytime. Most useful thing I did that I moved my whole pictures folder of Windows over here on iCloud. And to do that, just right click and go to properties, then location to change the folder location. And by doing so, it means my camera roll, videos, screenshots on Windows all get saved in here in this folder in iCloud. But it's not only my PC photos that are saved here, but I also tweak the settings on my MacBook so that all my screenshots there also get saved in this exact same folder. And I find that so convenient because everything's just on here, especially when I do my journal, since I like to paste screenshots on my weekly and monthly wrap-ups. Plus, it might also come in handy if ever my Mac or PC breaks down. At least all of my screenshots and photos are here in the cloud. And yeah, so what a boring end to this video, but I hope you guys learned a thing or two in the whole time I was talking. And thank you guys for staying until the end, and see you guys in my next video.